Did the Cowboys just repeat a costly mistake? Let's break it down. The Dallas Cowboys may have just walked into the same trap twice, and this time, fans are already seeing the red flags. A newly signed player is making headlines, not for what he's done in a Cowboys jersey, but for what's being said about him by his former team. And for anyone who's been following the Cowboys closely, this all feels eerily familiar. Let's cut straight to it. Dallas picked up running back Miles Sanders this offseason, a move that raised eyebrows but also offered promise. He's looked sharp early in workouts and seems to be adjusting well, but now whispers out of Carolina are painting a different picture of who Sanders was behind closed doors. According to reports, Panthers running back Chuba Hubbard had some not-so-subtle remarks about the running back room last year, comments that many believe were aimed directly at Sanders. And if you're a Cowboys fan, you've seen this story before. A running back with star potential weighed down by behind-the-scenes concerns. Sound familiar? The Panthers didn't hold on to Sanders for long. In fact, they cut him loose, with a full year still left on his deal. That's not something a team usually does unless they feel the locker room dynamic just isn't right, especially with a player they once viewed as a cornerstone. Now let's be clear. This isn't about bashing Sanders. He has talent. He's explosive. But so did others before him. And Dallas knows better than most what happens when locker room concerns go unchecked. The Cowboys are betting that a change of scenery, a fresh coaching staff, and a winning culture can bring out the best in Sanders. But history is what it is. And the warning signs, they're already there. Miles Sanders speaks through silence, and the Panthers didn't hold back. The Carolina Panthers made their move, and they made it loud. After 2 underwhelming seasons, Miles Sanders was let go. No surprise there. What was surprising, though, was how the Panthers chose to frame his exit. Inside that locker room, whispers turned to open commentary. According to Panthers insiders, the vibe instantly shifted for the better once Sanders was gone. Some even claim the running back room had a healthier energy without him. One anonymous take went as far as to say Sanders had nobody to blame but himself. Hold on. Really? Let's talk facts. When Sanders signed with Carolina, he did so under one coaching staff, and that staff was fired barely halfway into his first season. A franchise in chaos, no clear identity, and a backfield crowded with new draft picks, yet Sanders is expected to carry the blame? Let's be honest. He was promised the lead role and barely saw 30% of the snaps. That's not on him. That's on the organization. If you were told, "You're our guy," then suddenly sidelined without warning, you'd be frustrated too. So let's not pretend this was some attitude problem. This was a breakdown in structure from the top down. And yes, now that Sanders is in Dallas, he's one of ours. That means he gets the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. Because when you put on the star, you represent something bigger, and fans will rally behind you if you show heart. Meanwhile, Panthers running back Chuba Hubbard made it clear that things have changed since Sanders left. The energy is better. The communication is tighter. The brotherhood in the room is stronger. In his words, the way we're practicing, the way we trust each other, the way we're communicating, it's starting to show. The more we play together, the closer we're getting, and the better we'll be. That's a telling quote. Not just about Hubbard, but about the shadow Sanders apparently left behind. Now the real question becomes, was Sanders the problem, or was he just a misfit in a broken system? Dallas is about to find out. Miles Sanders versus the culture clash. A defining moment for Dallas back in Carolina. Some players didn't hold back. The message was subtle but clear. When Miles Sanders was in the room, the vibe was off. Camaraderie suffered. Unity fractured. Even Chuba Hubbard made a point of emphasizing how everyone's cool now, and that's a blessing I don't take for granted. That's not just a quote. That's a statement, a shot, a reflection. And now, all eyes shift to Dallas because what's happening with the Cowboys right now under offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer is the complete opposite. The focus is on unity, brotherhood, players pushing for each other, a one for all for one mentality. And that makes this move, bringing in a player some saw as a locker room downer, all the more fascinating. Can the Cowboys bring the best out of Miles Sanders in a way that Carolina couldn't? Or is this just history on repeat? This is deeper than depth charts or snap counts. This is about identity, about whether the Cowboys' locker room culture is truly as strong, unified, and adaptable as the team wants the world to believe. Because if Dallas can take a player some teams couldn't handle and make him thrive, that speaks volumes about the foundation of this franchise. But the test is coming. What happens if Sanders isn't RB1 in Dallas? What if his role starts to fade midway through the season? Does he embrace the team-first mindset? Or do old frustrations resurface? These aren't just hypotheticals. These are real scenarios that could define the Cowboys' season, because how Sanders handles his opportunity here compared to how things fell apart in Carolina and ended in Philly will say just as much about Dallas as it will about him. Is the Cowboys' culture truly strong enough to elevate everyone who walks through the door? We're about to find out. Miles Sanders is a test for him and the Cowboys. One way or another, the Cowboys are going to learn something important this season. If Miles Sanders comes in, locks in, and thrives, then Dallas proves it has built a culture strong enough to take in guys who didn't fit elsewhere and turn them into contributors. That kind of environment doesn't just win games, it builds legacies. But if things go sideways again, if frustration shows, if energy dips, if tension builds, then the Cowboys face a different kind of truth, that maybe their tolerance for disruption has to be tighter. Maybe Brian Schottenheimer and this staff will need to clamp down fast, enforce the culture they're building, and send a message that no one, no matter their talent, gets to tear at the team fabric. That's what makes this situation so fascinating. Every disgruntled player who joins a new locker room brings a question with them. Was it the player or the place? In Sanders' case, the bet here is simple. It was the place. The chaos in Carolina, that wasn't on him alone. The coaching instability, the broken promises, the misused potential, those are things even the best players can't overcome. But in Dallas, he's got a clean slate, a stable system, a locker room with leaders and a front office trying to build something that lasts. And if it works, if Miles Sanders starts looking like that guy again, the one who made waves in Philadelphia, it won't just be a win for him. It'll be proof that the Cowboys are building something real. So yeah, there are risks, but there's real upside too. And if you ask this fan, I believe in the bounce back. I believe in the star. Let the rest of the league doubt him. Let them talk. Because if Sanders shines in Dallas, they'll all remember who gave him his shot.